Wanted to go over real quick, give you an update on what we're doing, what happened at auction last week, auction in California and Washington. Remember, when you hit our website, you can always go to past performance, and because if you don't have a login, you can go OCG and then go welcome, and that'll give you an update on properties that we're in, and you'll be able to see what properties we're in. Actually, this property is listed. These properties are closing here shortly, so you'll be able to do that. Now, if you have an account with us, there's a couple different ways to invest. If you go invest with us, remember there's a passive and active. There's passive, and then there's active partners. For passive partners, a lot of our passive partners, is what they might do is they might say, hey, okay, I have $100,000 in my account, for example. Rob, what I want you to do is split up in the next two properties that you buy, split up, 50,000 in each property, and in the next properties that you're buying. And I want to be involved in California and Washington. So I want one in California, one in Washington. And then what we'll do is we'll use that discretionary approval, and we'll go ahead and make that investment. The active partner will go ahead and log on to their software, and you'll put your username and your password in, and you'll come to your dashboard, and this will be properties, for example, that I'm watching. It'll have your current holdings. It'll have your closed P&L, your open P&L, estimated account. For the active investor, and by the way, even if you're not an active investor, when you do decide to be a passive investor, you could still log onto your account, and you'll be able to see and track what's going on. You'll see what percentage chip you own in each property, and you'll be able to track what's going on with the property, if it's listed, what stage of development. We'll communicate all that with you. Obviously, we took possession, doing the rehab, listed the property when we have an offer on the property, and keep you updated on that. If you're not if you're a more active client and you want to pick out those properties that are particular to you, you can always go, and we'll look at, we'll just take an example of last week's auction, and which was the 27th, and I'm just going to use Washington. And we'll go search, we'll include all the properties. So there's 79 properties that went to auction. Remember also, you can always come back and you can look at what sold last week, which is a benefit. If you look at the properties that we were looking at, and I clicked on only hot properties, I'll go search, and you'll see actually last week in Washington was really slow. There was only one property that actually was at auction that we were bidding on. It was this particular property. We had a value, opening bid was 170. We had an OCG value of 210 to 205. It was a vacant property, and if you can see, somebody purchased that property for 190,000. Still great for an end user, but what it enables you to do as a person that is more of an active investor is to come in, see what it sold for, get an idea. If you wanted to bid on this property, let's assuming it hadn't already sold, remember you can always put in an order going to your software and then placing in an order, and you can pick out the percentage that you would like to invest in that property. I'll show you that here in a second. So for example, if I change it to the 3rd, which is this week, and I say search, I'm just going to go only hot properties, and I'm keeping it in Washington just to show you. But you can see that this one obviously sold, and that's because that's still on the 27th. So if I go auction date the 3rd, and I go search, obviously there's going to be quite a few more properties, but it's early right now. It's only Tuesday. But let's say I was interested in bidding on this property in Kirkland. OCG has it valued at 250. I could go in here as a more active investor. I'm not interested in the other one. I can click here for a max matches, and I can say, hey, you know what? I want a minimum exposure of 20%. I want a maximum exposure of 30%, and I want you to go ahead and match OCG's bid. So whatever OCG, I know it's a hot property, so I know OCG is going to be buying it too. So I want to match OCG's bid, and I'm going to agree to the selling terms. I'll click submit. Now that will show up actually on my in my order entry box, and that'll be at auction with one of our traders on Friday. Okay, so I hope you have a great day, and we'll see everybody later.